something a lot of role players really enjoy in role-playing games is the action-adventure, you know, having awesome weapons, killing monsters, looting gold, and all that good stuff. Well, if you take that mindset and play something that's set in the modern, realistic setting like Vampire the Masquerade, you're pretty much going to be a career criminal. Basically, if you're gonna be looting and killing and carrying weapons and all that sort of stuff, you're basically a murderous criminal. And it so happens that in Vampire the Masquerade, the Vampire Society works very much like a criminal organization. There's Camarilla and there's Sabbat, basically meaning that Camarilla is the organization that you're kinda aimed at, okay, that this is where the player character should be, but it's not off limits to play characters who are in the Sabbat. Camarilla is the cliched, or, you know, Vampire the Masquerade created the cliche of the vampire organization that doesn't want humans to know that they exist and all this sort of stuff, and they work together with the human society while keeping themselves secret. And Sabbat are the vampires who think that they are above humans and they should rule, and humans are nothing but cattle and all that sort of stuff. And they butt heads all the time. They are each other's greatest enemies, and they work very much like criminal organizations, like gangs, like the mob. And the hierarchy in those organizations is also very much like a mob hierarchy, where you have the prince, basically the godfather of the city, and he has his own pack of lackeys. He has his sheriff, who is his like #1 enforcer in the city, and the sheriff has his own pack of goons, his deputies, and then he has the harpy, and he has all these other advisors who specialize in different fields, and they are very much like these good fellas. And the player characters being neonates, they are basically, you know, these up-and-coming members in the mob, and it's most of the time it's like being the up-and-comers in the mob, because it's often the thing to be in Camarilla and not to be like an independent who couldn't give a shit. But most of the time the book kind of emphasizes on, you know, these are the Camarilla clans, so there's a lot of choices, pick from them. But it doesn't mean you can't play the other things. But that's the kind of the default. And basically, I was asked to explain how in Vampire the Masquerade could you easily get the player characters together as a group, as a coterie, and how to come up with stuff for them to do, like quests and plots and all that in a campaign. If people haven't really played World of Darkness games before, and people who have kind of gotten used to the action-adventure fantasy settings where people pretty much have the same motives of you know, wanting to you know, loot and kill monsters and all that sort of good stuff, in Vampire it's not that clear-cut. There are some World of Darkness games, like, for example, like Hunter, where everybody has the same motive of, okay, we're hunting these horrible creatures, or in Werewolf, that, okay, we are all warriors of Mother Nature and we are out to kill agents of corruption and evil and all that sort of stuff. In Vampire, it's a lot more individual-based. But that doesn't mean that they don't have authority figures who can just tell them, you all do this, and they will do it. Because, you know, if the prince commands you to do something, you will have to do it. And if the sheriff commands you to do something, you will have to do it. Because, like in a mob movie or a TV show or something, you wouldn't say no to those people because they're freaking powerful and they can end you. And also, if not the members of the higher class in the Camarilla, you also have authority figures within your clan, because the clans all have their elder members. They have their oldest and wisest and most powerful members who can also come to you and say, you're in my clan, you do this bitch work, and you say, oh, gladly, sir, you know, that sort of thing. So basically, I see that there's two ways of easily doing this that I was asked to get the group together and to give them stuff to do. One way is to kind of force them through the authority figures. You can either have the prince or the sheriff or the clan elders to basically give them stuff to do, and they will have to do it. And if they say you will work with these people, they will have to work with those people. And you can also make like restrictions in character creation. You can make it so that when people are kind of coming up with their characters, you can say that, oh, I want everybody to be a deputy in this game. Everybody's going to be a lackey of the sheriff in this game. So that way you automatically have a common goal for all of them. They all want to perhaps there are individual mindsets of somebody wants to climb the ladder, somebody wants to abuse his power, somebody wants to get out of this whole kamarilla sabbat thing or something like that, but they still all work together to a common goal because they are part of a team, they are all the deputies and all that sort of stuff. Or you can do something I've wanted to do for a long time, but I never have gotten players to want to do it, and I've never played a role-playing game with Vampire the Masquerade or any of the other World of Darkness games where any of the players would want to play the same clan. I don't think there's anything wrong with all the players being of the same clan. It's just that a lot of people see the clan as the most distinctive feature about the character. So if somebody's like, oh, I'm going to play a Nosferatu, somebody might be, oh, if he's going to be a Nosferatu, then I don't really want to, you know, that sort of thing. There's nothing wrong with everybody being Nosferatus or something, because then you would have a very strong reason for everybody to be together, and even then that doesn't mean that the characters will be extremely similar, because the NPCs a certain clan member would most of the time deal with would most likely be members of his own clan, and they would all be different, they would all be different characters and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, and there's a lot of different things you can emphasize on, especially with how I mentioned before that I've never seen somebody play at Tzimisce, for example, without having the vicissitude discipline, the vampire power of shaping bone and flesh and skin like a sculptor and that sort of thing, making horns and spikes and extra arms and tusks and that sort of stuff for others. There's a lot of different like vampire superpowers that already give you a direction of, okay, this clan doesn't only have to emphasize on this, they also are very dominating, they are also very animalistic, or they are very evasive, they can move in the shadows, and they can be spies, they can be these rich theocracies, or these power-hungry dictators. They can be these animalistic, feral guys. The clans shouldn't be like a restriction. But I'm now going on a tangent. The main point being that having all the players be of the same clan is an okay idea, if you ask me. The other way of basically having them be all together, instead of having that sort of authority forcing them to be together and forcing these quests and missions and stories on them, is basically to focus on the character's personality and making the stories and the reasons for them to be together very personal. Personally, I like to use that, because I never like to run my campaigns and come up with my campaigns in the manner of coming up with a list of kind of missions that some authority figure could give them before the characters are even made. I really don't like it when the campaign is something that anybody could be playing in with any type of character, and still the events would be pretty much the same. I want to dive into the character histories and backgrounds the players had created for their characters. If they have like put in their abusive history, why not use that? If they put in there that they have an addiction, why not use that? If they put in there that they have like they have an enemy, why not use that? And all that sort of thing. it's much more work, but it's much more of a payoff when you play the actual campaign. Come up with personal ideas for each character, why they would be together. Are they possibly siblings? That's possible. Is one player playing a sire of another player? Is one player does one player have one other player in blood bond by feeding them their own blood, and now they are much more open to suggestion by that other player that they are blood bond into? Or does one player have like some knowledge on the other player that they can blackmail them into working for them, and that sort of thing? And if you don't want the players to be together against the characters, you know, you know, this character, you know, if he wouldn't have this on my character, I definitely wouldn't be here, and that sort of thing. It's not always that as fun as it can be when your characters are kind of forced to be together. So, you know, come up with something personal. Perhaps somebody who's looking to rescue somebody they care about. The person who kidnapped the person they cared about is also the enemy of another player or something, and now they both want the same thing. One wants to rescue this person from this person that the other one wants to kill, or something like that. You know, use your imagination, use all sorts of inspirations that you can find in movies, TV shows, books, and all that sort of thing. I'm not a big fan of these kind of quest-based campaigns, rather personal, character-based, and I really like something that I've many a time said, that if there's one thing I would like to have when I'm a player in a campaign, is for my character to have a story arc. That's all I ask. Whether it be railroady, sandbox, immersive, mechanics-based and all that, only thing I really ask, please have my character have a story arc, where he starts from one spot, he wants to get something done, and there's a whole journey of getting that done, and that in some ways, you know, will shape the character and all that. Basic, you know, storytelling stuff, you know. And that's basically what I have to say about that. That the two ways basically that I see things to be done in Vampire the Masquerade, in terms of being the game master, is either go the character-based personal route or the authority route, where basically they will be forced into doing what they want. It's very simple that in that way. You know, do you want the king to hire somebody and say here's diamonds, go steal my daughter back from Thulsa Doom? Or do you want it to be like, they killed my parents, and they killed my teacher Obi-Wan, I want to get vengeance. What? He's my father as well? No! And that sort of thing. That's how I see it, and hope this has been educational, or at least entertaining.